evening, Bella Vista. It's JB Portillo and
Kristy Snyder.
Yes, and we're back to talk about it. And you know, Kristy, it's been a while because we've had some things going on.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like we talked about, educating Bella Vista a little bit about how unique we are and special.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think we have a great panel today.
We do. Would you ask them, please, to introduce themselves?
Linda, begin with yourself.
Okay, my name is Linda Lloyd. I'm broker at Acorn Realty. I've been 49 years in real estate, including appraisal and construction.
That's awesome.
I'm Dave Armstrong. I'm with Crye-Leike Realtors in Bella Vista. I've only been in real estate for 4 years. I moved here about 4.5 years ago from Kansas City. Love being a realtor, and I've been blessed to say I'm the #1 realtor in Bella Vista the last couple of years.
Fabulous.
Wow, that's great.
I'm Sandy Wellesley. I'm an executive broker with Hutchinson Realty here in Bella Vista. I've been a licensed agent since 2000 and took a couple of little detours for a couple of years, but I'm back now and happy to be here. So.
Oh, we've got a high-powered group today.
Oh my gosh. I have right off the bat, first question. What's the difference between a broker and a realtor? Go ahead, anybody can answer.
A broker has a certain amount of experience. They pass the broker's test, and a broker can run their own company and supervise other agents.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a difference too between a broker and an executive broker or a principal broker. Linda would be a principal broker because she owns her own Acorn Realty, whereas Sandy is an executive broker. Eric Hutchinson of Hutchinson Realty is their principal broker. I'm just a sales associate. All I want to do is sell homes and help buyers buy homes. I don't want any responsibility for anybody else.
Yeah.
I just like doing my own thing.
I hear you. I hear you. And a realtor needs a broker.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because a realtor can't run the sale without a broker.
Correct.
Okay.
All licensed agents have to place their license under a principal broker.
That's right.
And then the principal broker can give certain supervisory duties to executive brokers if they want to. So.
Well, let's talk. Oh, go ahead, Linda.
Well, and if a seller lists their house, the listing contract is technically with the broker, not with the agent.
Okay.
The same thing when a buyer has an agency contract, that's technically with the broker.
Yeah. From my aspect, I can't sign my own contracts. I can sign a contract, but there's another space for either a principal broker or an executive broker to sign. Both of these ladies can sign their own contracts. I like the fact that somebody else is looking over all of my paperwork to make sure that I've done it right.
I'm sure you have if you're #1.
And you've only been in, you said #1 for the past couple of years, and
Yeah,
you've only been
past
doing
couple of
it for
years.
4.5?
Yeah, I've been really blessed. You know,
caught
it's just it's a great market, right? Bella Vista is.
It's a
I just
captured
love.
market.
I love living here. I play golf here. I have all my friends here, and this is where I plan on selling 99% of my real estate is in Bella Vista because it's a unique place, right? And I think it's really important that you have a Bella Vista agent if you're considering Bella Vista either as a buyer or a seller.
So do you all live in Bella Vista?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go at this from two sides of the coin. I'm a new sales associate. What do you do to get me up to speed?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is.
It's the principal broker's responsibility in the office to make sure that all of their agents are trained and that they understand not just the real estate contracts, because the first thing you learn, I used to teach pre-licensing, which is a 60-hour class in the state of Arkansas. And the very first thing you learn in that 60-hour class is that 60-hour class is not going to teach you how to sell real estate.
Right.
It's going to teach you how to pass the exam, right?
Right.
So when you get your license and you place it with a broker, it's then the broker's responsibility to make sure that you understand how to sell real estate, how to fill out the contracts, local customs and practices, which here in Bella Vista we have, you know, certain things that you have to know exactly what you need to do, and it's your broker's responsibility to teach you that.
Gotcha. Anybody want to add anything to that? That's a great answer.
Well, I was lucky in that I had a great broker in Sherry Lemley But I also had another executive broker in Mo Holm, who's now retired.
Oh, Mo sold me my house.
Mo
Yes.
is Mo. Everybody knows Mo, right?
Yes.
Everybody. When I tell people I'm with Crye-Leike, oh, do you know Mo? Everybody knows Mo.
Yeah.
Mo was he was and is one of the best people I've ever known. He sold us our lot where we built our home here in Bella Vista, and that's how I got to know Mo. And I was a sports announcer in my previous life, and I said, Mo, when I move here, I want to transition into real estate. Can you help me? And he said, well, yeah, first you have to, you know, go to classes to get your license, and once you do that, we'll hire you. Well, I didn't know it was that easy to get hired by brokerages, right? Because I thought that if you're a new sales associate, you had to go through a lot of things and you had to prove your sales. But brokers generally will take on new sales associates, give them a chance. But then, like Sandy said, it's the responsibility then of that brokerage to make sure that, because they're ultimately responsible. The principal broker, they are ultimately responsible for every listing that goes through there. We have 38 agents at Crye-Leike Realtors. Sherry Lemley is responsible for every home we list, every home we sell, for all 38 agents. That's a huge responsibility. So she makes sure that we're all up to speed. You know, you spend some time in Crye-Leike. I spent time in what we call the bullpen, where I would just sit, and it was great because it was by the printer, and I could eavesdrop on other conversations from other agents, from other executive brokers. I learned a lot in that first year. The first year I hardly did anything in sales because I was really just learning. And then once you get your feet on the ground, then you can start going out and meeting people. And I always tell people this, if you want to get into real estate, what a great career. And if you want to be successful in real estate, the real secret is don't be a secret agent. Go out and meet a ton of people, because at the end of the day, people like to do business with people they know and trust.
True.
So your whole responsibility is to A, be trustworthy, right? So, and also I have to know as much as they know, and that's not easy because they've been in the business for a long time. And with every transaction, and I think they would agree, you learn something. Everyone is different, and every one you go, oh, I didn't know that. You know, I just had one recently where there was a trust involved, and the person that sold their home, they were elderly, and they couldn't remember that they ever signed a trust.
Oh my goodness.
And so we had to go through a lot of back channels, and it was something new that I learned, and how to figure all of that out while we're going through the process.
Linda, you've been in business for a very long time. You're very knowledgeable. I trust you. What can you add to that? What do you tell your agents?
The most important thing I tell a new agent is don't be afraid to say, I don't know.
There you go.
And then go research the answer. Even after all the time I've been in the business, there are new things happening all the time. Things that you would have thought that I had seen everything. But the last few years, I've seen some of the screwiest, weirdest things. So don't be afraid to say, I don't know, go research the answer, and then make sure you get back to the people.
That's the important part, getting back to the people. Absolutely. Okay, so let's just jump in here. Is it okay, Kristy, if we jump in? Bella Vista is kind of, I'm going to use the word unique and special.
We keep talking about that.
I know, we do. So as agents, brokers, whatever in Bella Vista, what's the most important thing that you let your buyers know when they look at property in Bella Vista? I know that's general, but how do you get that across?
Well, I'll start. For me, Bella Vista is divided by the highway, right? And so we explain that on one side of the highway, on the east side of Bella Vista, that's the Bentonville School District.
There you go.
The west side, generally, there's a pocket there right along near the highway that is still in the Bentonville School District, but for the most part, the west side is in the Gravette School District. That's a big point to make with new buyers. So if you have a younger family, you have to ask them, would you rather have your kids go to Bentonville schools or Gravette schools? And there are pluses and minuses to both. And I've had a lot of families move into the west side because they like the kind of the hometown feel of the Gravette school system. And I've had others who said, no, I really want to be in the Bentonville school district. So that's one of the first things that we do. The other thing we do is we talk about value. the value of real estate in Bella Vista is still very strong compared to anywhere else in Northwest Arkansas. We're still the best bang for your buck here. And then I talk about the beauty, and I talk about the space that you have. You're not cookie cutter in a neighborhood. If that's what you're looking for, we can find something like that for you in Rogers or Bentonville or Centerton, certainly. But if you're looking for that unique experience where you walk out on your back deck and all you hear are the birds chirping, then Bella Vista is the place for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And the first thing I do is I have a 9-foot wide map that shows all the parcels in Bella Vista, shows all the lakes and the golf courses. I sit the people down and I show them everything that's there, where the fitness centers are, where the golf courses are, and because people think they can drive around and get to know Bella Vista. Well, you can't.
No, you get lost.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I still can't.
So we go over the map and show them how there's 12,000 acres of shared common land, and if you buy this house and there's a house there, except in the dead of winter, you probably won't be able to see that house because of all the common land. Then give them an info packet with a map and information about the POA and the ACC and the city, so they get a little inkling of what's involved here.
Yeah.
So how many people actually take the time, I mean, you just said the three-legged stool, the governance of Bella Vista. How do we make sure, one of the things that I'm concerned about is you can give people paper all day long, you can lead a horse to water, but how do we get that across to folks on the pluses to that and the things that may feel like a minus? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think the Bella Vista website itself actually has a very nice graphic that shows the 3 legs, and I think that is a very nice thing to hand to your clients, like thank you for that thank you for that graphic, whoever did that. But you know, I think it's also important to have the conversation with people moving in about the ACC and the city and the POA and kind of what they cover. That's what that graphic goes through. But you know, it also just, it goes through things that, you know, like, do you have a boat? Are you planning to keep that boat next to your house? Do you have a camper? Where are you going to put your camper? You know, here's our noise ordinance and what it says you can do and what you can't do. And, you know, I think that some people look at those rules as restrictive, and I see them as very freeing because we have the rules set out. We know what we can and can't do. I mean, I have a camper. Would I love to keep it next to my home? Absolutely. That would make it so easy on pack-up day. Just put everything in it and you can go. But is there space for it? Is there room for it? Is that what my neighbor wants to look out their window and see every morning? Is the roof of my camper? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that as realtors, we are probably first contact, at least in my estimation. I think that we are first contact for that type of information. And I think it's important that we impart that so that you don't have someone that moves in and then they put their camper next to their house and all of a sudden the neighbor's mad and they're getting letters and they didn't know. And you know, we have to be proactive. I think we're the spot for that.
We're part-time educators.
Yes, you are.
We really are.
Educators, counselors, like
all
the
of
whole
that,
thing.
all of it. You know, we do that, and I think that goes back to the point we were making earlier about it's really important you have a Bella Vista agent if you're looking at Bella Vista because it's unique. We do have 3 forms of government. It's not the same. I always tell people the POA is wonderful, and it's like the Parks and Rec. And when I tell, and I don't know if they've had the same experience, but every single out-of-town client that I've ever had in the 4 years I've been doing this, when I tell them the POA dues of $37 a month, they laugh and they go, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you get for that?"
Did you mean 137?
Exactly, because they've been paying $200, $300, $400
For
a
not
month
as much.
for nothing.
Yeah.
And we have all these golf courses and lakes and trails and gosh, it goes on and on and on. So I think the POA has done, and JB, I'll applaud you for being on the board. I think the POA has done a marvelous job over the last several years in renovating a lot of our facilities, making them better. You look at Lake Point now, it's a wonderful place to go have dinner. You look at Country Club. You know, it was a storage building just 6, 7 years ago. And what they've done there, Branchwood is all renewed and refreshed. You look at Highlands now, we have a pizza oven. It's awesome. I mean, we've got so much going on. Blowing Springs now has the Gear Garden. There's just so much to do here and so much positive energy. And I think that's why our market has been exploding. That's part of it. That and what's been going on over the whole country in real estate.
I agree with you, and we're about to renovate Reardon Hall.
Yay.
So,
Yay.
Right.
yeah, well, thank you for that, for many reasons, because the more, every day, we need to continue to help our existing folks that live here, and the new, I find the new folks, like you say, are much more open to like, oh, okay.
No, that's wonderful.
And you give them the city website, you give them the PO website, you explain that, no, the city, let's get into this right now. The city does not provide your water.
Right.
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 The unique amenity for the POA is the water.
That's right.
Now, we all know that there are other little pockets of water. But let's get to the crux of some important things right here. Let's talk about, Linda, let's talk about sewers. Let's talk about septic tanks. How do you work that?
Well, realtors from outside of Bella Vista, I once did a search for lots that had public sewer and came up with this huge list because agents don't know that only about 20% of Bella Vista actually has public sewer, even though they put it on their listing. And the chance of us expanding our public sewer system very much is not real high because we're going to soon need another treatment plant. That's a problem. And just digging through the rock that we have in Bella Vista to expand it is tough. And it's also privately owned. It's not municipally owned, which is another kind of issue. And I worked closely with council recently. We had a lot of builders who were building new homes with 4 bedrooms on 2-bedroom septic systems, which sets the houses up to fail. So it's very important that the realtors disclose the size of the septic system on a house that they're selling and explain to the buyers exactly what that means. Because in this kind of market, people who want a 4-bedroom home, they're not so worried about the extraneous stuff. Oh, it's 4 bedrooms, this is great.
Right.
But they have to really investigate, is it accessible to public sewer, and how big is the septic system?
And how many realtors are you finding actually doing the investigation?
Well, it depends on
Right.
what their broker requires. I know Dave's broker has been very proactive about making sure that their agents on every house they list pull up the plat which shows the size of the septic system.
Yep.
And this is another reason you want to use local agents, because people from Fayetteville or Siloam Springs don't kind of understand all of this and can easily get their buyers into a problem.
And what have you seen, Sandy?
Well, I was going to bring up something too. I think, and it's funny because I was speaking with someone yesterday afternoon, and the idea of a septic system, they were coming from a municipality that's on a sewer, and the word septic just immediately threw them into, oh, no, oh, and it was very scary for them thinking about having a septic system. And y'all, I've lived here for 22 years. I've been on septic the whole time. Never had an issue. I'm not telling you you're not going to have an issue, but what I'm saying is that it's not scary as long as you know what you're dealing with.
Right.
Honestly, knowledge is power. So let's tell everyone what you have a septic system. Congratulations to you, and move along with that. You know, I think that there are, and Bella Vista agents know this.
Yeah.
More than anyone. But when you have people that come in from outside areas who've been on sewer their entire life, they've never had to think about a septic system or what that means, or it's a little intimidating to learn all of that. And so
It's part of the education process for Bella Vista Realtors. It
Right.
is. And I know, as Linda referenced, our broker now is requiring us for all listings to attach to that listing, just as we would the seller's property disclosure, we're also attaching the county records for that septic system. And so now people, when they buy it, it's been disclosed that this is only a 750-gallon tank. That's not suitable for anything more than a 2-bedroom home. We want to make sure our clients are fully aware of what they're getting into. The last thing you ever want is a failed septic system.
Right.
No fun. It's a mess. It's horrible, and there's a few ways around it, but it doesn't happen all that often. It's not like every day, whole neighborhoods are losing their septic system. It freaked me out, to be honest with you, when I moved here from Overland Park, Kansas. I've never been on septic before in my life. Been on it now for 4.5 years. Not an issue.
Yeah.
Don't even notice a difference. Like,
Right.
what's the deal? And to me, I'm like, good. I save $25 a month on sewer.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay that, so it's all right with me.
So do you have, I'm sure you tell folks that even the sewer is a privately owned entity in its own right. I hear rumors, and maybe it's just a rumor, that at least the council is investigating, perhaps, building another plant. Is it the council or is it wastewater that might be building another plant or thinking about it in future on the west side? Do you know anything about that
I
at
think
all?
it's just in the initial
In
stages.
the initial
And
stages.
it's probably not something that the city would do. It would have to be Village Wastewater, which is a private corporation.
That's what I was trying to say, and I didn't say it very well. I can't even imagine building a sewer system in all the ravines and the hollers and whatever else we have here. My goodness.
That's why we don't have more sewer.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
That's right.
So what is an answer for somebody that likes a particular lot and there's no real way, I'm talking new now, okay, we'll talk about existing in a minute, but what is a way, say they want that 4-bedroom house.
Well, you need a perk test.
Yeah.
That's the first step. When you buy a lot, you want to make sure you get a perk test, because that will tell you what that home will perk for. And it will tell you, then you have to look at building design. And again, I defer to Linda. She's really the expert on septic. And I hate
Right.
to pin that on you, but you've become the septic queen of Bella Vista. And
What an honor, Linda.
Yeah, what an honor.
Congratulations,
Yeah, right.
Linda.
So proud. But it also has something to do with the size of your home too. I mean, because that takes up space on that lot, and you have to have enough room for lateral lines and where those go.
Exactly. So what if there's not enough room, say you perked okay, but there's still not enough room and you can't buy the lot next door.
Right.
How do you win getting kind of the house you want?
There are alternate septic systems available. They're just more costly.
Gotcha.
General septic system costs neighborhood, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, about $8,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, 6 to 10 maybe, and the alternatives are closer to 20. But it's doable.
Yeah.
It's just we don't see it a lot in Bella Vista. We just don't.
I mean, the question is how much do you like that lot?
That's right.
Or would you like to move
Yeah.
along to a lot that is larger, or one that perhaps you can buy two adjacent, or,
right.
Do you kind of recommend that they buy the lot next door?
Well, what I see a
Totally up to
lot,
them.
Yeah.
yeah, and what I see a lot, especially on Facebook boards, are people who are dismayed
Yeah.
that the lot next to them is being built on. And I kind of have the moment that I think, you loved Bella Vista and you moved here. And now someone else loves Bella Vista and they're going to move here, and you
It's
don't
that
want
NIMBY.
them here
Yeah.
because they're interfering with your peace.
Yeah.
Well, if you purchase the lot next door, that gives you at least a little bit of a buffer. There are so many lots here in Bella Vista. There are so many lots.
Still available.
Still.
And
Still available.
in the last 30
Really?
days, 102 lots have sold.
Buildable
102 lots.
lots.
Buildable.
Yes,
Oh,
buildable
sure.
lots, and the median price of those is like $8,800, which this for Bella
Way
Vista
up.
is a big thing. And so if you're not hearing construction in your neighborhood, you probably will.
Yeah.
So do I recommend that they buy the lot next door? It depends on their motivation for being here. If you're here for the peace and quiet, then yeah. buy the lot next door.
So it's
Yeah.
more like, let's find the lot that works for you and what you want.
Right.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're all in that service industry where we're trying to meet the needs of our clients. That's it.
Yeah.
We're not salespeople. We're service people.
Right.
And it's important for us to listen to what our clients' needs are, what their wants are, what their desires are. What do they like to do? Do you like to play golf? Okay. And you want to live on a golf course? No, I don't really need to live on a golf course. So you find out not just, okay, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet, blah, blah, blah. But where would you like to live? What do you like to do? What, what's your access? And now that we have, I don't even know if we call it the bypass anymore, but now that we have 49 completed, that's opened up Highlands.
Oh, it has.
In a huge way.
Yeah.
To where now they have access to Bentonville, Rogers, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And that's opened up a big portion of Bella Vista. We're seeing a lot of Seward lots on the east side. So that's opened up. Builders love Seward lots. They just love them. Because they can build whatever size home they want and put it on sewer. So there's a lot of things that you have to factor in, but at the end of the day, it's what does the client want?
Exactly.
Right.
What does
Exactly.
the client want?
Do you, we've been talking residential here, do you guys also sell commercial property? Are you all, no?
Well, there's not much commercial property
Well,
to sell in Bella
right
Vista.
now,
Right.
but if there were, do you, no?
Yes, and yet the answer to that is yes if there's an opportunity. There was an opportunity recently for me to represent a client in the possible purchase of a building here in Bella Vista. We looked into it, we made offers, we did everything we possibly could to make it happen. At the end of the day, the seller, in my opinion, was a little bit greedy in the price that they were looking for, so my client backed out. Can I sell commercial property? Yes. Do I do it? Not really. 99.9% of our business is in residential.
Do you see the bypass as opening up the west side as far as potential commercial development in future? Is that, just if you could dream, do you think that might happen?
Well, the only really available commercial land on the west side is owned by Cooper, so that would be up to them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But they can develop.
Sure. Well, they have
Build-
3,000 acres right around the
Right.
the bypass there.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I think what I would like to see if I had my dream for Bella Vista, I would like to see them allow someone to come in and develop another villa community. We need more villas. Like what you have, what we call Vatican City, which is
Yeah.
over by
Oh,
the
yeah,
Catholic Church.
yeah.
Villas, the country club villas that we have. We have some more on the east side. Clients that are coming to me, they like that maintenance-free lifestyle. And we don't have enough of them. If something comes on the market in Highland Park, which is by the Catholic Church, it's gone in a day.
You don't even know about it.
No, and a lot of times you don't. And a lot of times
Right.
you don't. And so we need more villas. And I would love to see Cooper release some of that property that they have to some developers or develop it themselves, whatever they want to do. I would love to see Cooper say, you know what, we could use another villa community. Now, it's going to have sewer. It's going to have that because it's hard to do a villa community on septic. It's really almost impossible. So it's going to be a big plan. But there's land available to do that kind of thing if someone has the vision for it.
Exactly. It's hard to predict where we're going and how we're going to get there, but we kind of have to stay ahead of that a little bit, don't you think? You know what? We could talk forever, and I'm really thinking that we need to do this more than once because there's so much we didn't even touch today.
Okay.
So let's talk about maybe thinking of how else we can help educate. But before we leave today, would each of you, what would you like to get across today to the audience? What's your parting words for today? Anybody, speak up.
Positive or needs some work? It doesn't.
Well, I don't mean to be the greedy guy and start, but I'll start. It's usually ladies first, but no one spoke up, so I will. I would say this: Bella Vista is an awesome community to live, to play, to enjoy. As one of my friends describes it, it's like being back in college with money. It's just a wonderful experience. You make so many friends here. I'm pro Bella Vista. I love it here. I'm so glad we moved here. It's been one of the great turning points in my life, I mean, to do this. And so I would say this, the most important thing, if you're considering Bella Vista, make sure you contact a Bella Vista realtor.
Yeah.
Because we know what's going on here. If you're thinking of selling your home, you want to make sure you go with a Bella Vista realtor for a lot of reasons. But you really know, we have the experience to sell this area. We have clients that are looking in this area. We have the experience and the know-how to do it. So that's what I would say is just make sure if you're thinking of buying or selling, find yourself a good local agent.
And not try to sell it yourself. Can we go there for a minute?
Well, let's go there, because I'll give you one example of trying to sell it himself. I had a friend who had a Gulf front property, and he was going to sell it for a certain price, and it didn't sell to either person that he knew that he thought might want his home. So then he came to me and he said, okay, we're going to put it on the market because I've got to move. We bought something else somewhere else and we've got to go. So I went over there, we did it, we listed it fast, it sold in a day. It sold for more than $100,000 more than what he was willing to sell it for.
Wow.
So when you look at realtor fees, you go, well, wait a minute. Now more eyeballs are seeing that. So that's number one. More eyeballs can see it when we put it on the multiple list service, and it not only goes on the MLS, but it goes to over 200 websites all over the country, including Zillow and Realtor and all of those others that everybody is familiar with. So it's really important. Secondly, it's important to be represented by somebody that knows what's going on. I don't want to sign a legal document without somebody kind of giving me the ins and outs of what I'm signing. And I think it's tough. And then thirdly, I think especially for elderly clients, I think it's dangerous for them to list their home on their own. You don't know who's walking into your home to view it. You have no idea. When you go with realtors, realtors are with those clients at all times in viewing those homes. So I think elderly people who say, you know, the market's so hot I can sell it myself. Well, you might be able to, but you're running a big risk by doing it.
And you're not really saving anything at all.
No, not at the end.
You're losing out in some cases.
You could.
Right. I know several times in the last couple of years I've had people say, well, I'm going to sell it myself. Then they have a problem and they call me and want me to bail them out when they've gotten themselves into a contract that doesn't properly protect them. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I could have helped you in the beginning, but now you've gotten yourself into this fix. Your only solution is to call a lawyer.
Wow, crisis management.
And, you know, people think that it's so easy, but it's not, as Dave said. And how do you deal with inspection issues? How do you deal with problems with the termite? How does a seller deal with 8 offers on their property, all of which have different numbers and different requirements and different closing dates? How do they sort those out and make sure they don't discriminate or get involved in something that's a little fuzzy? So that's why they need to call us.
Yes. Sandy.
I think it's important, you know, as realtors, as Dave pointed out, this is I think all of us here consider it a service. This is not sales. And Dave said this before we got here, giving full credit to Dave, but it's true. We don't sell homes to people. They pick the home we want, and then we negotiate on their behalf so that they get that home. You know, I just very recently have first-time home buyers that are looking to purchase their very first home. Well, this is a heck of a market for first-time home buyers. This is a scary place to be sometimes for first-time home buyers. And they went and were pre-approved. Their mortgage lender told them that they did not need an agent, and he would be happy to supply them with a contract that they could fill in the blanks, and then that transpired. My question to them is, okay, if something goes wrong with the appraisal, the termite, the inspection, any of those things, who is going to stand between you and the seller for those items? Who is going to negotiate? Is it going to be your mortgage broker? Because I will tell you, he is not licensed to do that in the state of Arkansas. He is licensed to approve you for a mortgage and make sure that you get the financing for this. But real estate agents are there. You know, in the very beginning when I started, I had my clients fill out a form and say, how did I do? What could I have done better? Because I wanted to learn and I wanted to be the best that I could be. And one of my homeowners said, you know, I was just waiting for things to get hard, and it never got hard. Meanwhile, I had broken out in hives because, you know, it was hard. It's just my client never got that because I negotiated on their behalf and then handled it.
Gotcha.
And that's what agents do. If you think that all we're doing is taking a picture and putting it on the MLS, you don't know the half of
Well,
it.
thank you for what you do. We
Thank
so
you.
appreciate it. And you know, again, we could talk for 2 hours, but we're not going to today. Let's do this again sometime, and let's concentrate on a particular issue or what. Anytime, any of you, if you have a thought and you need to come back, call me.
Yeah.
Call us.
All right.
Because
Okay, sounds good.
we're all about Bella Vista and
Wonderful.
making people happy
Bella
here.
Vista.
Thank you for inviting us.
You bet.
Thank you.
Quickly.
Yes.
Okay, Bella Vista, we are out for today, and
We'll
wow.
see you next time.
I know, we're going to have a surprise next, probably even a surprise to us on our next show.
Oh, well, there you go.
I like surprises.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening today.